Welcome back to the Book Nook podcast. We are diving into The Housemaid today by Freida McFadden.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this one.
Yeah, it's a psychological thriller that seems like it's got everything. We've got a couple of book reviews.
Okay.
And even a YouTube review to help us get a good overall picture of this one.
Awesome.
So let's get started.
Let's do it.
So to set the stage,
Okay.
the story is about this woman, Millie,
Mm-hmm.
and she takes on a new job
Okay.
as a housemaid
All right.
for this wealthy couple,
Uh-huh.
the Winchesters.
Okay.
But their house, it's a little more than just a house.
Oh, I see.
It's like this massive mansion,
Wow.
and it's giving off some seriously creepy vibes.
Yeah, those houses can be a little much.
Right.
Just too much space.
Too much to clean. And, when a place feels that unsettling, you can bet there are some secrets hiding just below the surface.
Yeah, that's what makes these thrillers so good.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
like you just know something's gonna happen.
Right. And the reviewers all seem to agree
Okay.
that the setting itself, the mansion, it's almost like its own character.
Oh, interesting.
Mirroring all the secrets and the darkness the characters are trying to keep hidden.
I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Definitely adds to the atmosphere.
For sure. And one reviewer even mentioned that the story is told from this really unique perspective,
Oh, how so?
like a fly on the wall.
Oh, wow.
So you're watching everything unfold,
Interesting.
like you're right there in the mansion with them.
Okay.
Do you think that adds to the suspense?
Absolutely. It's like you're getting all this insider information, like
Right.
stuff even the characters might not be aware of.
Totally.
I love that in books.
Me too. It's
Yeah.
like you're in on the secret, but powerless to stop anything.
Yeah, you're just along for the ride,
Exactly.
buckled in and holding on.
Huh? Exactly. Now we all know a
Yeah.
lot of thriller readers love the blood and gore.
Oh, for sure.
But it seems like McFadden takes a different approach here. Yeah, the reviewers all highlighted that it's more psychological.
Interesting.
So the suspense builds through these subtle details, and the tension is more like mental and emotional,
Oh, wow.
rather than relying on those really graphic scenes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, one of the reviewers specifically mentioned how much they appreciated that approach.
Yeah.
Like building suspense without all the gore.
Right. Building suspense in a way that really gets under your skin.
Yeah, and stays with you.
Yes. And it seems like McFadden's writing style is a big part of that.
What's her style like?
Well, one reviewer actually described it as a gravitational force
Wow.
that keeps you hooked.
Interesting.
So what do you think makes her writing so captivating?
I think it sounds like she has a real knack for keeping things simple and effective.
Okay.
Not getting bogged down with fancy language or
Right.
complicated sentences.
Okay.
She gets straight to the point,
Yeah.
which keeps the story moving and the suspense building naturally.
I like that. No time wasted.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about those twists and turns.
Okay, yeah. Everyone's been talking about those.
It doesn't seem like it's just one big reveal at the end.
Mhm.
It sounds more like McFadden sprinkles them throughout the book.
Oh, so you never know what's coming next.
Exactly.
So fun.
I know. Now, did any of the reviewers give specific examples of the types of twists?
They didn't want to give away too much,
Of course.
but they did emphasize that they're not just for shock value.
Right.
They really make you question everything.
Everything.
You think you know about the characters,
Um,
the story.
I can't wait to read it. Speaking of questioning everything,
Yeah.
we've got to talk about Millie, our main character.
Oh, yeah. What about her?
Well, it seems like she's got her fair share of secrets, too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And the reviewers hinted at a mysterious past.
Ooh, very intriguing.
Right.
Makes you wonder what she's hiding.
And that unreliable narrator element just adds another layer to the story.
Oh, how so?
You never really know if you can trust Millie's perspective.
Oh.
That's good.
Right.
Keeps you on your toes.
Totally guessing her every move.
Yeah, you're never quite sure what's real and what's not.
Before we move on to the characters and the setting in more detail, I wanted to remind our listeners,
Yes.
if you're enjoying this deep dive into The Housemaid,
Mm-hmm.
be sure to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast
Great idea.
and leave us a review.
Yes, please do.
It helps other book lovers like yourself find the show
Absolutely.
and helps us grow our little bookish community.
Love it.
Okay, so back to this unreliable narrator.
Okay.
It's such a great tool for psychological thrillers, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure.
It really forces you, the reader, to work harder to figure out what's really going on.
Yeah, you can't just passively read the story.
You're like an investigator,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're piecing together the clues.
trying to separate truth from fiction.
I love that.
Me too. And the way McFadden controls the information, it's like she's playing with us.
Oh, wow.
giving us little bits of information and then snatching them away.
Ooh, she's teasing us.
Totally. And it keeps us coming back for more.
For sure. I mean, who doesn't love a good mystery?
Right. And it's brilliant for keeping the suspense high.
Absolutely.
You're always on edge,
Totally.
desperate to know what's going to happen next.
Hooked.
Hooked.
Yeah, like she's leading us through this maze.
Hmm.
And just when we think we've got it figured out,
Right.
she throws in a curveball.
Love it. It reminds me of those classic mysteries
Oh, yeah.
where you're trying to solve the case along with the detective,
Mm-hmm.
but the author always manages to stay one step ahead.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the plot
Yeah.
and all the suspense,
Uh-huh.
but what about the characters?
Okay.
What do we know about Millie?
Well, the reviewers are pretty tight-lipped about her backstory,
Yeah, that makes sense.
since it's tied to the main mystery.
Right.
But they do hint that she's a bit of a complex character,
Okay.
maybe even a little troubled.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like she's got her own issues.
Right, probably some skeletons in her closet.
Definitely makes you wonder what she's running from.
For sure. And what about the Winchesters?
Okay.
Are they just your typical wealthy antagonists?
It doesn't seem like that.
Really?
Yeah, the reviewer suggests there's more to them than meets the eye. Like they've got their own secrets and complexities.
Oh, so they're not just one-dimensional bad guys.
Exactly. They add to the overall intrigue of the story.
So it sounds like we've got a whole cast of characters who are hiding something,
Pretty much.
which definitely raises the stakes
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and adds to the suspense.
Definitely.
Now, one of the reviewers mentioned
Mm-hmm.
that The Housemaid has some similarities
Okay.
to another thriller, The Last Mrs. Parish.
Oh, yeah, I've read that one.
Did they elaborate on those similarities?
They did. They pointed out that both books have female protagonists
Okay.
who are kind of underestimated at first.
Right.
But then they end up being super cunning and resourceful.
Oh, so they're not what they seem.
Exactly. And they both have similar narrative structures.
Like with twists and reveals that keep changing your perspective.
Yes, exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. But they made it clear that The Housemaid is still a unique story.
Okay.
Like it has its own captivating characters and chilling atmosphere.
So even though there are some similarities,
Yeah,
it's still a fresh take.
absolutely.
And it's been captivating a lot of readers.
Oh, yeah. How can you tell?
It has an incredible rating on Goodreads,
Okay.
4.31,
Wow.
based on over 1.7 million ratings.
That's a lot of people.
I know. It's clear this book has struck a chord with readers.
For sure.
And you know what else?
What?
It's being made into a movie.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Have you heard anything about it?
Not really. Is there a release date?
No, not yet. They're keeping things pretty hush-hush,
Typical.
but I'm already picturing it in my head.
Yeah. How do you think they'll adapt it?
Well, the casting is going to be crucial,
Yeah, for sure.
especially for Millie. They need to find someone who can play both her vulnerable side
Okay.
and her hidden strength.
I see what you mean.
And of course, the setting is key.
Yeah.
They've got to capture that creepy atmosphere.
The mansion, right?
Yes. And that feeling that something's not quite right.
I can already imagine it.
Me too.
All those dark hallways and shadows lurking in the corner.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be so good.
I'm excited.
Me too now. Now, speaking of things not being quite right,
Hmm.
one of the reviewers did mention some plot holes.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah. Did they go into detail?
They admitted there are a few things that might not make perfect sense, but they didn't think it was a big deal.
Really?
Yeah, they said it was easy to overlook, especially considering how gripping the story is.
So those inconsistencies don't ruin the book.
Not at all. The good stuff definitely outweighs the bad.
That's good to hear, because I hate when plot holes take me out of the story.
Yeah, it's like a record scratch.
Totally. Okay, so before we wrap up our thoughts on The Housemaid,
Yeah.
I want to remind everyone listening,
Okay.
if you're liking this episode and you want more deep dives into the world of books, be sure to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast
Great idea.
and leave us a review.
Yes, please do that.
It really helps us out.
Absolutely it does.
It's true, though. Sometimes I kind of like those little inconsistencies.
Really?
Yeah, it makes you think,
Huh.
Like maybe the author put them there on purpose.
Not to mess with us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like to make us question the narrator even more.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right. Because in a psychological thriller,
Yeah,
you can never really be sure what's real.
exactly. It's all about playing with your perceptions.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into The Housemaid,
Okay.
what would you say is the biggest takeaway for our listeners?
I think what really sets The Housemaid apart
Mm-hmm.
is that it's just so immersive.
Okay.
Like you really get sucked into the story.
Right.
And McFadden's writing, it's so captivating, but it's also super easy to read.
So it's accessible to a lot of readers.
Exactly.
I like that. And we can't forget about those twists.
Oh, yeah. The twists are killer.
They really keep you guessing.
Totally. And that unreliable narrator
Ugh, so good.
keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time.
And let's not forget that setting,
Oh, yeah.
the mansion.
So creepy.
It really adds to the suspense.
Absolutely. It's like its own character.
So would you recommend The Housemaid to our listeners?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a good psychological thriller,
Mhm.
one that will keep you guessing until the very end,
Yeah.
then you've got to check this one out.
And I'm so excited for the movie.
Me too.
I think it has the potential to be amazing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's going to be so creepy.
All right, so that wraps up our deep dive into The Housemaid by Freida McFadden.
Fun discussion.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And be sure to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast.
Yes, please do.
And leave us a review.
It really helps us out.
And if you want to get your own copy of The Housemaid,
Okay.
check out the link in the description.
Easy peasy.
Thanks for listening to the Book Nook podcast. We'll see you next time.